Alright, so here, this is a sort of an overview map of the entire Boundary Waters area. It includes Superior National Park, which I think is everything here in the U.S. This line right through here is the U.S.-Canadian border. So everything up here in Canada, I believe, is part of Quetico Park. So our journey is going to be completely in the U.S. Let me find it here. Yeah, so our put-in point, we're right here at Moose Lake. Our put-in point's about there. So our plan is to go up Moose Lake, cut over here just before Canada, go through this little lake here, and make sure I get this right. It's hard to tell on this map. It's such a zoomed out version of the smaller or the more detailed maps we've been planning our route on. So yeah, it looks like we're going to end up, we'll come through here, take this portage over to this lake, down to this little lake, over into Mission Lake, I believe it is, over to Skoda Lake, Dix Lake, through here, take this route, here to Knife Lake, here through Eddy Lake, a couple little lakes, back through a lake I can't pronounce, and then loop back through, and then backtrack, of course, back to our put-in takeout point here. So that's the plan. We'll see again. The portages may influence that path. We're really not sure how long it's going to take to get through those portages, so we're not sure how many miles per day we can get in. Alright, so it's May 29th, 2010, and I'm getting ready to pack all my gear for the 2010 kayaking trip. Usually in the spring, a lot of the guys, some guys I used to work with, some guys I work with, we take some kind of overnight canoeing, kayaking trip, usually on the Buffalo River down in Arkansas. This year, we've decided to go up to the Boundary Waters and to Minnesota. So unfortunately what that means is some of the guys that usually go can't go. It's a farther trip and some guys just can't get away for that long. So it's down to 3 guys, just Jonathan and John, and then myself, Jamie. So what I'm getting ready to do now is pack all my gear up. Hopefully it'll fit in the dry bags that I have, and hopefully I can get it organized so that I'll be able to access everything quickly when I need to. So that's what I'm getting ready to do. Alright, so I'm out in the garage, got all my gear and my dry bags, grabbed the kayak, and see if we can make everything fit. Trash bag out to the side there for now. So we'll see. I guess this bigger bag will fit in the back of the boat. That'd be ideal. And it looks like maybe not. We'll see. A little adjustment here on my back band. Allow the seat to fold down a little further. so that'd be nice to keep your center of gravity low. Taper back into the valve. Went ahead and put my camera in there. If it's funny, I just want foot stops down a little bit. My knees are sticking out of the boat. Must be pretty good. Alright, so I hope I'm in the shot here. It's Thursday morning at 4:30 on June 3rd, so we're getting ready to load up the boats. John came up last night to grab dinner at the SAC late. John's going to make his appearance here. There we go. So, getting ready to load up our boats, throw them in the truck, load up our gear, and then we're going to head up to Prairie Village, pick up Jonathan, and then we're off to Minnesota. Alright, so we've got both boats loaded into the truck. John just went down to the basement to grab his gear, bring it up, and I'll bring my gear up. I have some of it in the boat already. And throw those in, and it's 4:37. We'll be off to pick up Jonathan here in probably 10 or 15 minutes, so it should be on time. Alright, so we had to take our first pit stop. We're just north of Des Moines. So, I don't know, it's 9 o'clock. I guess that's it. First pit stop. We got everything loaded in the truck. Hey. Looks like all the boats are still in there solid. Worked out pretty well. Looks like we could probably tighten this strap a little bit here. Another crank. Alright. We're off to Minneapolis, I guess, is our next major city. Very good. Here we go. Well, here we are in Ely, Minnesota. So we made, I guess, one stop in Iowa. Made a couple stops there in Minnesota. One for gas, lunch. And now here we are in Ely. One final gas stop before we head on up to our campsite for the night. So far it looks like the boats have made it just fine. I think we got a pretty good system here. Alright, so we are in Ely still. We got gas, moved on down the road about a mile. Probably not. If we went a full mile, I think would be past Ely. It's a small town. We're going to stop and grab dinner here and get out of the way of traffic. Alright, we're going to have dinner here at the Rockwood Restaurant and Lounge. It's about the only place there is to eat here in Ely, it looks like. Maybe one or two other choices. So, anyway, I'm going to take this up and see what John and Jonathan are doing and have some dinner and head on out to the campground, which is about 7 miles on down the road. So, alright, so here we are at Fall Lake Campground. It's going to be our home for the night. Guess we'll go in, I guess here, register and get a site. Or maybe over here.
campground manager. I don't know. Found our campsite. Looks like we're going to be on campsite 49 tonight. Kind of chose this spot because we have a pretty good view of the lake, as you can see, and we can get the truck off the road. So it looks like this will be pretty good. And as luck would have it, we have some firewood already, which is going to be handy. So we'll get our tents all set up down there. Looks like there's should be plenty of room for 3 tents. So we're good to go. Don't know where the guys took off to. I'm sure they're down at the water. So let's go on down there and take a look. Yeah, looks like they're down there at the lake. So take a stroll on down there. It's perfect weather, by the way. There's no wind. I don't know, it's probably about 70 degrees. Perfect weather. Just on the way down here between Ely and here, which is about a 4-mile drive, we saw 3 does along the way, so good sign for seeing some wildlife on this trip. Hey, maybe we should set the tents up down here on the side.
I'm just looking, that water's moving pretty good for no wind.
Oh, yeah. Alright, well. This is it.
I think I hear some.
Here's some rapids. Here's some water flowing over there. Yeah. Well, let's get camp set up and paddle over there and see what it is. Alright, so we just went out, took a little paddle out on the lake. I went about a mile just to check everything out. Hauling everything back to the boat now. So, good little trip to make sure we had everything we needed. And there's home sweet home for the night. Get over here and get a better shot of it. First, let's watch Jonathan hit John with his boat. That didn't work out so well. Alright. Boats are back in. It's going to be our home for the night. So, alright. So John's got his fire going over there. Again, fortunately with the campsite we picked out, it came with some firewood, although it looks kind of green, but it seems to be burning not too bad. So we do have his campfire going. We got all of our camp gear out and on, and bug sprayed up, and tent set up, and so we're good to go. Alright, it is 7:15 on Friday, June 4th, I guess it is, and it's the first official day of our trip. Yesterday, I guess, was actually a travel day, so we're getting camp. We're breaking down camp, and as you can probably tell, it's raining. Well, just barely. It's not raining too bad. So it probably started about 2 o'clock last night. Nice little drizzle like this all night long. So it wasn't too bad. Made for really good sleeping weather. The nice white noise from the I'm doing the talking to the camera. So it's a nice white noise from the rain, and nice and cool. So it's a really good night. And now we're going to break camp down and get on up to our entry point and try to get this thing started. Alright, we've got our entry permit picked up. Getting ready to put in. We're at entry point 25 here. Got our boats unloaded, and we're getting ready to take off. So still got a little bit of rain. Looked at the radar, and doesn't look too bad so far. So I think we'll just have a little bit of rain to deal with today, and hopefully it clears up after that. So we got the boats all out here, getting ready to take off. I think we got everything. Of course, we got the all-important football. Gotta have something to do around camp. Alright, I think we're set. The lake is just right over there. I guess you can see it through the trees a little bit. Looks like we got about a 40 to just get our boats down there. So we're going to start off this trip right with the portage, so let's see how that goes. Oh, sign it. Oh, shit. I just got hit with a frisbee. That's not cool. Alright, so we set up camp here. This is our first night of camping in the Boundary Waters area. We got our tent set up, and you can see we've got our canoes, or sorry, our kayaks brought up on land. We have already made dinner. We went back away from camp a ways and made dinner. Now we've hung our bear bag up, and we're all pretty proud of it because we've never done it before, and I think we actually pulled it off pretty well. So we're going to walk back there and check it out. It's a team effort. We don't need to go into the details, but we had a thrower, a catcher, and a hoister. So it was a good group effort. So let's go see our quality work here. Of course. Alright, so this is our bear bag. Again, we're pretty proud of this. So you can see we found the smallest tree in the country to tie it to, but I think it'll work, hopefully. And that tree was actually straight up when we first hoisted up the food, but we had a lot of food. Okay, that's not true. It's already been over like that, but now if everything comes down in the morning, it'll be good. Hopefully don't end up leaving half the cord in the tree. We'll see. All right, I guess we'll continue this tomorrow morning probably, unless something fun happens later tonight. It is, I guess, Saturday morning, the 5th, I believe, June 5th. Let's see, yes, June 5th. And just tearing down camp. So far the day's looking much better than yesterday. Yesterday, of course, it rained the whole day. We spent most of the afternoon getting pounded pretty good with some white caps and rollers on the lake and a cold headwind. So it wasn't a fun day of paddling. Actually, at one point I made the comment, it's the worst day I've had paddling in a long time, and I still believe that's true. It was not fun. We have overcast today, but a little bit chilly, but no wind, so I think it'll be good, and no rain. That's important. So we're gonna get camp taken down here and get back on the water. It's 7:30 now. Hopefully we can get on the water by 8. Should be on the water by 8, and see how far we make it today. Came up with a couple contingency plans last night. We may cut our loop short, just because we didn't go as far yesterday as we thought we would. Probably get a little farther today. No headwind. Get on the water about an hour earlier, probably 30 minutes earlier at least, and so it should be good. Alright, so we found there's a bald eagle here that's let us get pretty close to him, so hopefully he'll stand there just a little bit longer. Get some footage of him. He's let us take quite a few pictures of him, so he's not too worried about us. Alright, we've seen 3 or 4 of them so far, but that's the only one that's, I guess, let us get this close. Actually, we haven't tried to get close to the other ones, plus it was rainy all day yesterday, so we weren't spending a lot of time tracking birds down, but luckily today it worked out pretty well. Alright, so it's about 2:30. We've set up camp for the day. I think we set up camp at about 1:30. We've been here about an hour or so. We decided that the loop we plan to make we probably couldn't get done in the next 2 days. Finish out today and then again on Sunday and Monday. So we decided to cut it short. So we set up camp early today, so tomorrow we can get back on the water and get quite a bit of distance done tomorrow and not have to make up so much distance over the next 2 days. So early campsite tonight, and I guess that's about it. We got everything set up. We got a really cool campsite actually. Got this cool lake out here. So far we've only seen 2 other boats go by. It's one group of 2 boats. For the most part, I guess we kind of have it to ourselves. So Jonathan went out and did a little bit of paddling earlier. And again, it's only 2:30, so we may all jump in the boats here in a little bit and paddle around. You can see from the water out there, we got some wind coming in. Got some darker clouds back here, so we might have some rain on the way. So trying to get everything ready in case it does start raining. We're trying to get our all of our water purified. That's what Jonathan's got going down there. You might be able to pick it up on the sound, but you can also see he's boiling some water. And everything ready in case we get a storm tonight, so we don't have to prepare stuff out in the storm. So, I guess that's about it. Hopefully the rain doesn't come tonight. If it does, it's a nice light rain. Storms aren't a lot of fun. Even a little rain will make things wet again. We just now got things dried out from the first day, so hopefully we avoid the rain. Alright, it's about 5 o'clock and decided to go ahead and make dinner. We did have a storm blow through. You can kind of see it over there on the horizon. I say a storm, it's just a light rain shower for about 30 minutes. About the time we got our fire going, it came through to get all the wood wet and pretty much put the fire out, but that's alright. We're not really using the fire tonight anyway. Alright, so we're getting ready to make dinner. And I'm going to head on back there and start cooking. Get my water here. Fresh from the lake water. Just boil it for a minute. Should be good.
You want to walk through?
Yeah. Alright, so we're on our way back to where we're going to cook our food. We're supposed to get away from camp. I can't remember how far we're supposed to be. I think they said 150 feet, but we're not sticking to that rule strictly. As the crow flies, we're probably only 50 feet, maybe even less. But we got this little spot back here where we can make us some dinner. Really boil us some water. And that's what we're going to do. Everything going. Almost looks like we have something illegal cooking back here, but just making us some dinner. Getting ready to finish up eating so we can bag all our stuff up and hang it in a tree. We think we found one that'll hold it all. We have surprisingly quite a bit of food amongst the 3 of us. Obviously it's dwindling down. We're going to take a little walk here and show you the way to the latrine. So all these camping places here in the Boundary Waters, back up one step, they have a fire grate. Obviously it's blocked from view by those rocks, blocked from view from the lake. They try to do they do a really good job of making them pretty hidden, so it's not an eyesore. So you have to know where they're at, really look for them to find a camping spot. So they have the fire grate at each camping spot, and then they also have a latrine. So far finding it hasn't been hard. There's usually a pretty good trail to it, but it's back a ways from camp. I guess that's obviously a good thing. Yeah, this is where we went to cook our food earlier. Cooked our food, we took a right up that trail and cooked right up there, but the latrine is on back here. I guess as we go back here, we'll take a look at where we're going to hang our bear bag. I think we're going to go down this little trail, you kind of see, and then maybe you can see that aspen tree. I think that's an aspen tree over there. We're going to try to throw the rope over there and hang our bear bag. But anyways, on to the latrine. No worries, we're just going to go look at it. And here we are. Isn't that fancy? And I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the video, but there are a ton of mosquitoes back here. So for lots of reasons, you don't really want to spend much time back here. And that's just one of the at least two. Oh, there's a mosquito, sorry for that. Alright, here we go. Let's head on back to camp. Alright, while we have the video going, let's go in here and take a look at this loon. I think that's what that thing is out there on the lake. And I don't really know, but if that's the things we've been hearing, they are really loud too. I've seen quite a few of these. Although interestingly enough, it seems like we always see them two at a time and only one pair per lake so far is what it seemed like. So I don't know what's up with that. Right now there's just one of them out there, although I'm willing to bet there's another one. It just hasn't popped up from the water yet. They swim, they go under and swim for a long time, then they'll pop back up, sometimes halfway across the lake. It's really impressive. So we'll wait here just a minute and see if his partner pops up. Oh, there he went. He disappeared now, so may not see him for a while. Who knows where they'll pop up. Let's get a shot here of the lake while we're waiting. And we also noticed we put our kayaks in right here. I don't know if you'll see it in the video, but there are some eggs right below the surface of the water there, about 1.5 feet down or so. Not really sure what they are. They may be turtle eggs or who knows, but there's maybe a dozen eggs right there. Alright, it looks like the loons are gone for now. Like I said, they'll stay underwater for a long time, so we're not going to wait for them. Let's head on back up to camp. Yeah, here's the salvage yard, it looks like. We got our boats all turned over and crammed in corners in case the wind picks up tonight. Won't blow them away. Really hoping we don't get a storm tonight. Who knows? Alright, I guess that's it for now. Probably sign off for the evening and maybe get a little video in the morning, see how the weather is, and start our trip back to where our put-in point. This is going to be as far as we're going to make it, I think, on this trip. So. Alright, we're back here trying to hang the bear bag, and haven't had as much success, or as quick a success as we had last night. I think last night we threw the rope right over the limb on the first try and everything worked. This time it's taking a little more work and it's actually getting comical, so I thought I'd go get the camera and catch this on tape. Well, not tape, but you know, get a recording of it.
Welcome to track.
You got Jonathan Taliban over there.
I thought that looked good on the way up.
Oh, that was good. There we go. Hey, that'll work, won't
I
it?
got it where I wanted to.
Perfect.
There's no way I could do that again if I was trying to.
Don't try. Let's hook up the bags and go. That's good. Looks like we have the bear bag up where the bear can't get to it from the ground or from the tree, so I think we're in good shape. Wasn't quite as easy tonight as it was last night, so we're gonna head on back to camp, and
Beginner's luck last night.
I guess so. Looks like we got some rain. That might be moving away from us. The clouds earlier came from behind us and went out there towards across the lake and over that direction, so hopefully that's moving away from us. The rain that came in earlier came from back this direction. They don't look near as bad, so hopefully we're in good shape for the night. We'll see. So it's about 7:30 and another rainstorm came in. Not really a storm, it's just raining, not too hard. But we finally got dried off a little bit, so we all decided to get in our tents so we could stay dry. So I'm getting everything set up here in my tent. Getting my air mattress here blown up. Take a little while to blow it up. Got my shoes inside, mainly so the critters don't take off with them. Not that they would, but if they did, I'd kind of be stuck. I do have my hiking shoes in one of my bags, so I could pull those out, but they're not waterproof. So anyway, go ahead and get the air mattress here blown up. Get the tent spread, or I'm sorry, the sleeping bag spread out, and it should be good to go. Got the sleeping pad blown up, inflated, sleeping bag rolled out, my pillow inflated, so we are good to go for the night. Camp is now set, and this is going to be home sweet home for the next 8 or so hours. Hopefully at least 8, because I'm pretty tired. I guess we'll see in the morning, and hopefully it's not raining so we can get out of here and with some dry gear. That'll be a first for us. Alright, it is Sunday morning, June 6th, about 8 o'clock, and you can see we've got camp broken down here for the most part, and getting ready to get back on the water. We made us some breakfast. We all made us a pretty big breakfast to try to keep us, or allow us to skip lunch today. We got the 180 rod portage first thing this morning, which is going to be really exciting. I don't think any of us are liking portages much these days. We're really not set up.
I love them.
Jonathan loves the portages. John and I, however, do not. We definitely figured out we're not set up right for portages. For every portage we do, it takes 3 trips. So one trip down, we take a boat and gear. So 2 people take the boat, 1 person takes their gear. We all come back. Then we grab another boat, some more gear, come back, grab the last boat, last set of gear. So I guess we spend a lot of time at portages going back and forth. So we're not really set up for it. It's slowed us down a lot, so that's why we cut our trip short on distance a little bit. And we're going to turn around here and start heading back. We'll backtrack and hopefully get back to our camp or our put-in point. Monday, I'm going to guess late afternoon, probably early evenings when we'll get there. And we're going to head on back to the Fall Lake Campground, probably run into Ely for dinner, so that's our plan. But today, we're going to do this portage. Probably make it back to where we camped the first night. May stay at the same campsite, or at least we'll stay at one on that same lake. So that's our goal for today, or actually that's our plan. It's easily achievable. So that's what we'll do today. One last shot here of our campsite. There's a really pretty lake we're on here. I I think it's Skoda Lake, is that right? Yeah, Skoda Lake. So it's really pretty. Like I said, we only saw a couple canoers yesterday once we got here at this campsite, so not many people back here. I think you get back after a few portages, you lose a lot of people. I can understand why. So we're all pretty much packed up and ready to go. Just gotta haul some gear down and put in the boat. Jonathan's getting his tent wrapped up over there. John has already got his stuff packed up and he's filtering some water, so he decided to paddle out in the middle, filter the water, which is probably easier than doing it from shore. And hey, a loon just popped up right in front of us there. Interestingly, last night there were 6 loons on this lake. Of course, they're in groups of 2, so I guess they always do that, but they go more than 2 per lake apparently. So, well, I guess I'll throw my last bag in my boat. Got my tapered bag here, throw it in the boat and get out there and meet up with John and start paddling towards our first portage. I think we're going to take a loop around that island out there first. We go around the point over here in our portage. Don't know if we'll be able to see it from here. Basically it's back in that cove over there is where we enter it. It's 180 rods, so that's our longest portage. We have 2 portages that are 180 rods. This one we'll do obviously first thing this morning, and then one more we plan to do first thing tomorrow morning. And then from there we have 2 or 3 short portages to get back to our put-in point. Alright, it's about 4 o'clock on the third day of our trip, Sunday the 6th, and we're just getting ready to set up camp here. We made it quite a ways farther back today than we planned. We are, I guess, a lot closer to our put-in points, so which I guess will be our takeout point tomorrow than we thought we would be. We had a 180 rod portage I had to do, and our plan this morning was to camp right before it, do it first thing in the morning. But we decided to go ahead and get it done today. So we got that behind us. We set up camp here on, I don't know the name of the lake, it's a bigger lake. So we got just a couple really short portages tomorrow to get back to our takeout point. So this is the view from the campsite. Another great view. There's another campsite across the way over there. It looks like it was taken. Jonathan paddled over there. And here we go. So here's our campsite for the night. Got plenty of firewood, looks like. One thing that's pretty obvious here is these campsites over here on this side get used a lot more than the campsites farther away from Ely, or I guess from our put-in point you get. This is pretty beat down, pretty wore down. So the other sites was pretty much covered in grass. Anyway, that's what we're doing today, or it's what we're up to now. We'll probably go ahead and make dinner, set up camp, and probably goof off the rest of the night. Maybe paddle around a little bit more, throw the frisbee and football around. Alright, so we're heading back to hang the bear bag. Hopefully it'll be as entertaining as it was last night. We'll see. Alright. Alright, here we go. Oh,
Fail.
I don't really think that branch is going to work. Better try again.
Just knock all the ticks out of the tree.
Yeah.
Money.
Success. Watch where you're stepping there. Yeah, we have, I don't know if you can see on the video here, their fish remains back here. So someone cleaned their fish probably a little closer to camp than they should have, but there's really not much left, so we're not too worried about it. But we're going to hang our bag pretty much right over it. Not sure if that's a wise decision or not, but we'll see in the morning.
Okay, we have way too much wood.
Is that? I think that's probably good because we don't want to get much closer.
It's the third night of our trip. Sunday, June 6th, about 8:15, and we decided to get out and paddle around a little bit. Finally, for the first time on this trip, got to see a sunset. It's been cloudy every other night, so we thought we'd paddle around out here on the lake. You can see it's a really nice sunset. And as I mentioned, it's 8:15, so sunset's pretty late around here compared to Oklahoma and Kansas. So we got quite a bit of time to paddle around before it gets dark, before the sun sets. Alright, so we came out here to paddle around while the sun was setting, and saw a really cool sunset just behind this mountain here out in front of me. So it was really worth it to get back out in the boats this evening. We all got our feet good and dry and everything dry, and we're debating whether we should come out here or not. And I think we all agree it's a pretty good decision to come out here. That was a really cool sunset. It's really nice and calm and serene out here. So Jonathan and I are just floating around out here in the middle. I think John went for a little paddle back behind me somewhere. So anyway, it's a really good evening. Weather's great, the first sunset of the trip. Hopefully this weather holds for tomorrow when we finish up our trip. Alright, it is Monday, the last day of our trip. Have a really good morning this morning. The sun is up and shining. A little bit different than our previous 3 days, where it's been cloudy or rainy or both, obviously, at sometimes. So we have a nice sunrise this morning. I don't think any of us was up early enough to see it, but we did get some good views of the fog burning off the river, burning off the lake this morning. And John's over there getting the fire going, so we should have a pretty good morning today. We don't have very far to go to get to our takeout point. I think it's like 10 miles, about 10 miles, so we'll probably spend a lot of time today exploring all the shorelines, any coves we can find, that type of thing, since we have a lot of time to get to our takeout. So let's take a shot of this sunrise we have this morning, which is really nice. You can see the fog on the lake out there getting burned off. John and I have been up about a half an hour, and there's already a considerable amount of fog gone off the lake. It was pretty much covered this morning when we got up 30 minutes ago. Alright, you can see we're just getting going on the fire here this morning. Of course, we have the Frisbee. We bring it along just to start fires. Not really, that makes a pretty good time killer around camp in the evening. But it works really well for starting fire, and actually works really well for putting out a fire, for scooping up water. But we have a little bit of a fire going, and before long we'll have that rolling pretty good. Alright, so take a look at the map. Right here is where we camped last night. So we just gotta come around this lake, do this little 5-rod portage It's not marked 5 rods, but we ran across some people. They said it was 5 rods, but probably won't even have to get out of the boats there. The water's actually flowing the direction we're going, so we should just be able to paddle right through that. Come on over and do the little 30-rod portage, and we're straight shot back to our takeout point, just right down here. So it is 1:43 on Monday the 7th. We just completed our trip. We just pulled in here at entry point 25, which is of course our exit point. So we looks like we traveled about I think it was 42 or so miles, 43, something like that. And that includes all the portaging and paddling and everything. So it's a pretty good trip. We had great weather on the last day. First 2 days weren't so great. Third day we had a little bit of rain at the beginning, and then it turned out to be a pretty nice day after that. So pretty good trip all in all. We all survived. And I guess that's it. Alright, it's Tuesday, June the 8th, about 10 till 5 in the morning. We are just getting camp broke down and getting ready to head back home. We got about a 12-hour drive, including stops and everything. So we should be home about 5 o'clock this evening and get all of our gear unloaded and be finished with the trip. So it was a really good trip. Had great camping weather again last night, no rain, nice and cool, probably got in the mid-40s, and there was no dew, so we were able to put our tents up dry, which will be good for the 12 hours. We're going to be stuffed in dry sack, and actually probably a few days actually till we'll be able to get it all out and cleaned up, so that was good. The only bad thing I guess that happened last night was someone stole our firewood. We set up, or we came here, got our campsite, and then there's showers here at the campsite, and we went and showered and ran into Ely, which is about 8 miles away, and had dinner and came back. We actually caught the guy stealing our firewood. We didn't realize it at the time. When we pulled into our campsite, some guy was coming out from the woods where our firewood was, and he's wiping his hands off and walking briskly away. We wasn't really sure what he was up to. There's a cut through from the adjacent campsite to ours, so we thought maybe he was just cutting through. And when we got out, we realized he stole our firewood. It wasn't really a big deal, especially since we didn't even plan on starting a fire last night, but still pretty bad that someone would steal firewood from a campsite. We saw them later stealing firewood from other campsites, so really top-notch people there. It would be fun to find them this morning and wake them up or something, harass them a little bit on their way out, but we won't do that. Okay, so we're back after our trip. I drew this route out. Turns out we didn't quite make it all the way through. The portages took longer than we thought, and I guess that's really what slowed us down. Truth is, we could have made this entire route. We would have had to paddle a lot more than we wanted to. We were spending a lot of time looking around at the scenery and taking it easy, so we didn't really make it. Like I said, if we wanted to and just paddle hard, we could have done it. That really wasn't the purpose of the trip. So what route did we end up taking? We didn't do this loop at all, so we never made it that far. Actually, the Skoda Lake right about there is where we stopped. So our route ended up being about that. So we started on Moose Lake at entry point 25. Came up and around just like we'd planned. When we got to Skoda Lake, there's a 180 rod portage. Right at the end of that portage, we were trying to decide what we wanted to do. So we were considering coming on up a little farther, heading north up into Knife Lake, and looping back around. The appeal of that route is there are a few portages up there. The bad part is it's a lot of open water, a lot of big water, I should say. We also considered looping up into here, down into this lake, and spending the night there, and then turning around and coming back. What we decided to do instead was just to camp out on Skoda Lake early. That way it'd give us a lot of time to take a nice slow route back, which it did. It worked out really well. So that was our plan, and here's what we finally our final route.